How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about PROG stock. I must say it held itself up fairly well considering how choppy the markets were. I know many of you that watch this channel are inside of this play and you know what you're saying. Dre, we need to get that update. What are those price levels to look out for? We want to make sure we have a strategy as far as for the rest of this week. So this is why I'm putting this video together. So I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in a bullish case scenario. And then we're going to go on FinTel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important, it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for PROG. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $3.13, being up 0.32%. On the low, it tested $3.07, and then on the high, testing $3.65. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 51.22 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 105.557 million shares. So right away, as you can see, this is well below the average in regards to volume, but I must say PROG did fairly well considering how choppy the markets were. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right around 45.91. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on our chart, we are below the 21-day EMA. We also are above the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 100-day. So as far as the price action we ended up seeing, we ended up testing $3.07 on the low. So going into tomorrow, if we pull back even further, you're going to want to see some strength right here at the $3 level. We could have some buyers that want to step into the play at this particular price range, and I feel this would help for a bounce. Now, if we end up breaking through $3, then we're going to want to see some strength here right off of the 200-day, which is around $2.92. Remember what I said before previously, it was around $2.93. And this is why if we end up breaking through these particular levels, then we could see a pullback going all the way to 284 and also taking into consideration 274, which is not too far from where we have our 50-day at $2.77. So that is the bearish case scenario that I want you guys to be aware of. As far as for the bullish case scenario, we ended up seeing $3.65 on the high. And this is great because this puts us right above the 21-day EMA where it's at $3.62. So if we're able to get past this 365 resistance sometime this week, then I'll be looking forward to a move to see if we can get past 378. After 378, that's where I'm going to really start looking forward to seeing if we can make that push to $4. But do know $4 will be the psychological area, so you're going to need a lot of volume coming into this stock to actually bring it past. So let's see how it performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for PROG. So as we scroll down further on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So what we could see here for the most recent filing we have for November the 29th, we have Vanguard Institutional Total Stock Market Index Fund institutional shares that close out their position. We already covered the rest in previous videos. Now let's move on to the short interest. So the dark pool short volume ratio is at 52.61%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 11.15 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.2 million, updated 4 hours ago, and then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 45.58%. Now when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 26th, it was at 52.03. And now for the close of November 29th, which was yesterday, it being at 52.61. So we can see it has increased a bit, but this does tell us there's a lot of negative market sentiment around PROG stock. But it also is clear that it does have short squeeze potential. So if we have buying pressure coming into the play, then we can see some moves to the upside. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for PROG. So we can see here on the inflow is at 39.16, and then on the outflow is 32.25. So we ended up having an inflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 0.22. On the medium, it was 28.12, and then on the small, it was 10.82. When we take a look at the outflow side on the large, it was 1.26. On the medium, it was 22.15, and then on the small, it was 8.84. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today it being a negative outflow of 1,043.74. When we analyze the numbers even further, we can see for the small scale orders, which represents the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then on the large, that's where we had the selling, which could potentially represent institutions. So now when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it is at 31.39%. No surprises why it is fairly high, because PROG is a stock with many traders that are going in and out of this play. And also, since we did have quite the pullback inside of the market, naturally a lot of people are just going to sell. But overall, in general, we did see some strength and there is demand for PROG shares. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for PROG stock, from a technical sense, you want to see it hold up the $3 level. In the worst case scenario, you'd want to see a bounce off of the 200-day, which is currently around $2.92. Remember I said previously it was around $2.93. So pay attention to that. Now, as far as for the bullish case scenario, you're going to want to see some strength off of $3.65. If we're able to get above 365, then I want to see us get to 378, and getting momentum from there could easily get us to $4. But this is going to be dependent on volume, buying pressure. And when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, there's many shorts who are vested in this play, and it's part of the reasons why it has short squeeze potential. And seeing that it had an inflow on a choppy day inside of the market is the reason why you want to keep this play on your watch list. I know many of you are invested in this play, wanting to hold shares and so forth. I would say continue to be patient, because I can see the stock having more volatility, especially as we go into December. But at the end of the day, when you're in these type of volatile plays, you want to make sure you're doing your homework and you're doing your due diligence. And if you're invested, make sure you know as much as you can about the company. So at least if the stock dips, you can feel comfortable about buying that dip. The last thing that you want to do is put your money inside of a stock, and then when it dips, you're like, nah, I don't want to touch it, because you're more likely gonna sell or you're gonna be bag holding. And then at the end of the day, that's when you start saying to yourself, man, why did I get into the stock in the first place? I want to make sure I really emphasize that. You don't really hear that much on YouTube, but I just want to make sure that you guys are seeing success inside of the markets, and wherever you decide to put your money in, you know exactly what you are doing before you push that buy button, or even in the case if you are holding shares, before you actually push that sell button. It is very important to know what you hold. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see how PROG stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.